raw reality of organic dropshipping at 17. So I haven't done one of these in a little while now, and I thought I'd come on and speak to the camera a little bit. None of this is scripted, so I'm just gonna get straight into it. So what I want to say first things first is when people sort of come into the game of organic dropshipping, and it's not just organic either, it's just dropshipping in general. A lot of people think it's like an easy kind of money grab. A lot of people come into the game and they think, okay, 2 weeks in and I'm going to be making loads of money. And the reason for that is it's not even just dropshipping either. There's the whole online money space. There's a lot of young people out here who are obviously doing really, really well. But what I mean, even I have to remind myself of this sometimes, is that, you might see a lot of people, young, making a lot of money, but you got to understand that it's not like they started at the same time as you. Like, let's say you're 16 now and you're just getting into a business and you see some 17-year-old, and there are some that I've seen online as well, who are making hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars or pounds or, whatever currency. You got to understand that they might not have started when you start now. So say you start and you're 16 and they're 17. That doesn't exactly mean they started at 16 years old as well. That doesn't exactly mean, they could have been doing this stuff since they were 13. I know some people have literally been making videos, making money online since they were 10, which is insane. I started when I was 14, so I've been in the game now for just over 2 years, nearly 3 years, around that. You just got to understand, right, that just because someone is near enough the same age as you doesn't mean they've got the same experience level as you. They might have so many years more than you, and you've got to just understand to not compare yourself to others. But that's part of what I'm trying to say here with the easy money kind of thing, is that dropshipping in general, or just any business out there, isn't going to be some easy money scheme. There's not just some get rich quick scheme. There's no the only overnight success that you're going to see is when you haven't seen the work that's being put in by the person who has this overnight success, right? You're not going to wake up one day and just be making loads of money. You can't just go to sleep one day. Maybe you just started your first store, maybe you've just, I don't know, maybe you're just looking to start stuff like that. You're not just going to wake up one day and everything's just going to be going right. It's going to take months, years, a while to get into that flow, get into that consistency. And this is why kind of luck as a whole thing, the idea of someone being lucky isn't really not attainable to anyone. You can't really list someone as lucky, because people who are lucky are generally people who have put work in. Even people say, maybe someone wins the lottery, or maybe someone wins at some gambling game or something like that. You might call them lucky, which, yeah, in some states that is the case, but other states, these people have probably brought the lottery tickets so many times, and even though the lottery is completely luck, there's no luck involved when you've been buying the lottery for so long. It's, because you've been buying it for so long, you've got such a bigger chance of winning than someone who's just bought one ticket. But anyway, let me get off that topic, because the lottery is a completely different thing, right? But what I'm trying to say is you can create your own luck by just putting the work in, and such thing as an overnight success is actually created over months and months and months. So, take for example, Matthew. So I don't know if you're in the organic dropshipping space, you'll know, did 500k in 20 days, right? Massive inspiration to me, because, it just shows what's possible. If someone can do that amount of money, then why can't anyone else? If they can do it, why can't I? If they can do it, why can't you? That kind of thing I'm trying to say. And 500k in 20 days, because no one had heard about Matthew beforehand, or at least I know I hadn't, and stuff like that, it kind of seems like this guy just popped out of nowhere and just instantly made a lot of money. But you need to understand that before that time, before he made this amount of money, there was a lot of work that was involved, because you're not just gonna, like I said earlier, you're not just gonna wake up one day and just be printing sales. You're not just gonna wake up one day and just be succeeding. It's gonna take time, it's gonna take effort. And it's not, because the thing is, right, that I've talked about this in some of my other videos, this is the number one thing that keeps me sort of on track all the time. And if I ever think if I have doubtful thoughts or anything like that, it kind of just puts if things get hard, I always remember this, and it's the fact that if things were easy, you know, if building a business and making money online was easy, if becoming rich was easy, then like everyone would do it, right? No one would have any reason to be, you know, having to just work a job or having to, you know, having to like scrim and scrape money, save money and stuff like that. No one would be doing that if this was easy, because it's difficult, and you need to understand that. Because, you know, like I say, if, you know, maybe let's say your parents, let's say, you know, you want to retire your parents or something, there's a reason that your parents aren't already retired, and that's because it's not easy to make money online. You know, you can't come into this thing like, you know, be in it for like a week or a month and think, okay, this is getting a bit hard now, I'm just gonna give up. Because that is like the reason why there's not like so many people that are rich. It's why there's like this 99% versus the 1%, you know, the successful versus the non-successful. It's because the 1% have pushed further and have understood the fact that it's not meant to be easy, and there's no one, you know, rooting out for them. There's no one feeling sorry for them or you feeling sorry for yourself, because the fact is the only way that you're going to succeed, the only way that you're actually going to like achieve everything you've ever wanted, is by putting in the work, putting in the effort, and understanding that it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be quick, and it's going to take a lot of time. And once you can understand that, which I've done as well, I understand that now. So, you know, when, like I said, just whenever I have these like thoughts, because, you know, trying to like balance a few things, because obviously I'm 17, so I've still got college. I have actually just finished, well, basically just finished college. So I've got a lot of time now to sort of focus on organic as a whole and just the business, but you've still got a lot of things to balance. I mean, maybe if you're like in your 20s or something and you're going full time into a business at the moment, you don't have a job or anything, you're just full time into your business, then you probably got a bit more freedom to do things. But when it comes to like balancing life, you know, it can be hard trying to sort of, you know, run a business and then also spend time with family and just, you know, do all these other things. And that's why you got to like make sacrifices as well. You know, I know, don't watch any like Netflix series or anything. That's one thing I used to always do. I used to watch Netflix and I used to play video games. And I'm not saying like, you know, just cut everything out and do stuff like that, but that's what I have done personally, because, you know, you get to a point where you understand that there's a lot of if you get to a point where you're too busy to do these things, that is kind of a point where, you know, you can grow further and you can sort of achieve more. Because I've got to a point now where I'll do like the work in the day and I'll still be up until pretty late at night. So if I decided, okay, I want to go and watch a movie and then I want to go and play some video games as well, it just wouldn't work because I physically wouldn't have time for it all. But I can still choose that time, but I just choose to do the more productive thing. And that's what you need to learn as well, because from productive tasks, you get dopamine. And it's the same way as you get dopamine. And if you don't know what dopamine is, by the way, it's basically just a factor in your brain where you do something that is rewarding and your brain just gets this like energy, spark of energy to want to do it again, basically. And this can apply to many things, you know, like playing video games. You win in a video game, you feel like you've succeeded. Or, you know, maybe you watch a Netflix series and something happens with your favorite character and you feel like there's so many things that dopamine can link to, right? But if you can get your dopamine to link to the right thing, which is, you know, for me, completing tasks on my to-do list. I have a long to-do list. You know, I mentioned it in a few other videos. I'll just write my to-do list the night before. It consists of, you know, editing videos, filming videos, product research. There's a bunch of different things on there. Completing those tasks is what sparks my dopamine, and that's the reason why I can just keep going at it every day. I don't have to, you know, you don't want to be relying on motivation, especially as you get further down the line, because it's just not scalable. You know, scalable as yourself, running on motivation is just not going to happen. You know, you have to be running on discipline. You have to be running on you have to be running on the fact that you need to achieve your dreams. You know, you have to be running on that fuel. And yeah, so you don't want to be running on motivation, and, you know, get the dopamine from the good tasks, the good things in life, get the dopamine from there. But I don't want to make this video too long. I feel like I've gone over a good few things there. I am grinding a lot in the background right now, which is why I'm not like because I was posting like every single day on YouTube, but I've seen that there's not really much of a reason for me to do that. I'd rather just post videos where, you know, things come to mind, something good's happening, everything like that. I'd rather just post videos then. when I feel like I need to, rather than just having to, like, you know, pick up the camera and just speak to the camera just for the point of posting. Because I want to make things valuable. I want to make things valuable for you guys, and also for me to look back on in the future. So yeah, that's kind of everything I wanted to mention. So thank you for watching. If you want to follow more of the journey, please consider subscribing. But I'm going to end this video here, so I'll see you in the next one.